Grand day, gems and jewels, gods and goddesses. I'm your host, Corinthia Peoples, and this is Power in My Pivot. Power in My Pivot is a live broadcast that happens every single Saturday, where we discuss how the ordinary people, such as you and myself, become extraordinary in our own right through the power of pivoting, turning, changing, and moving our lives from the prescribed direction of mass societal roles and conditions. This show is for men and women, kings and queens, dukes and duchesses, and just everyday people. The time has come for us to control our own narrative and to set the stage through leading by example. On today's edition of Power in My Pivot, we will continue to raise and honor the divine feminine and have an intimate discussion about the impact as well as the glory of being a woman in a man's dominated industry with Miss Bobby Whitmore in honor of the divine feminine. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Power in My Pivot is a discussion where we unpack the details of our pivot, our transformation, whether that's been voluntarily, circumstantially, or out of sheer survival. It's a talk of our soul's journey and our evolution as humans. Welcome, welcome, welcome all to the room. This is an inter-participatory discussion and dialogue, honey, so feel free to drop a comment in the comment box, ask a question, and we would love to answer in the chat. And if you have not already done so, please like and subscribe to the Corinthia Peoples YouTube channel, as well as give us a thumbs up or a heart or whatever you so choose to give us in terms of the thumbs up or the heart. Okay? We would really appreciate that. Welcome all to the room. Our special guest today is Bobby Whitmore. Miss Bobby is from Altima, Arkansas. She migrated to Las Vegas, Nevada in 1974 and has raised her 6 children in the Las Vegas Valley. She began her career as a carpenter in 1979 and as a mother of 6 children. Ms. Bobby joined the local union 1780 and was mentored and encouraged to work and serve as a carpenter. Ms. Bobby believes wholeheartedly that being an example for young women and encouraging them to take on challenges and become and overcome self-doubt will lead them to great possibilities. Welcome to the room, our guest, Miss Bobby Whitmore. Miss Bobby, hello.
Yeah. Things are good. Yes.
That was good. I hope I did your bio some justice.
No, I'm just saying things are for me right now. You know, life is really good. Things are good. Yeah.
Life is good.
The only complaint I have is no complaint.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. No complaining is a good complaint. Well, you're a powerhouse of a woman. So I was just saying, I hope I did your bio, introducing you justice.
Oh, is my personality is more of a backroom type person. It's kind of like you go to a party and everything's laid out, and the cook's in the back, and I want to be like the cook in the back, not the one who's hosting the party. That's my personality.
So you're
I
laid.
kind of walk through. Some say I am. I hear it a lot. I'm a big thinker, so that's just think. And
You look like a
meditation.
people- you look like a people watcher too. Like you like to pay attention to people. And watch.
I listen. I'm a very good listener because when you listen, you learn all the things that aren't being said. You feel what people are feeling. When you listen, you don't have to say much because they tell you where they are, how they feel, and what's going on in their life. And to be a good listener, you cannot be, you can't criticize, you can't, excuse me, throw your opinion in there. You just have to listen and feel what they're feeling. So I'm blessed with that trait and that character. So
Wow,
I enjoy that portion. Yeah.
that's a good
I know you
portion.
cannot be judgmental either, because to be a good listener, you cannot be judgmental. And because you listen well, you can help people in so many ways. Yeah.
Is that cultivated? Do you cultivate being a good listener, or is it something that you just have always been good
Because I've been, most of my life, I've been pretty much a loner. I've learned to be my best friend. Uh, I don't have issues with being alone or just being your best friend and being in touch with nature at all times. There's something about the sun when it rises in the morning and how it makes you feel, or a misty rain outside when you're walking, when you can just feel God's presence all around you. It's all those things that make you really who you are if you slow down and take the time to pay attention to this good earth and what's offered here. So
at?
that's more who I am. And I love to cook. I love to garden. So I really love being outside. And family, there's nothing greater than family. It's the greatest wealth you'll ever own in this world. No matter how good or bad the person may be, nothing is more valuable than family.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
I definitely agree.
yeah. Nothing is more.
So, Miss Bobby, from Arkansas, from Alzheimer's, Arkansas to Las Vegas is
Yeah.
quite a stretch. You went pretty far there. You went from the
Time I
south
ever,
all the
yeah,
way,
yeah.
and then over west to, why Las Vegas?
All
Why
right,
did you choose Las
back in
Vegas?
the day, if you had family someplace, you would go where family was. People in the South would always go east, west, or someplace. I had a sister here. But most importantly, I just wanted to be able to make it for myself. I had no idea what opportunities were going to await me here, but I knew I was willing to take the risk.
Got it.
I don't even know whether it's a risk. I think it's probably more of a challenge because there's a difference.
There
I
is.
was up for the challenge. I didn't see it as a risk. And when I got here, I just made a decision to do what I needed to do. And I tried things, and you fail at things, and then one day you say to yourself, "You've got to get this right." And you can be in a situation sometimes, and you just know that it isn't right, but it's really up to you to change those situations. So again, it was always about my children, and I knew that whatever I was tasked with in life or whatever I choose to do, I would succeed at it. I just knew that. I remember growing up and sitting on the side of the house and wanting books to read and then have books to read and just simple things like that and dream. I've always been a dreamer about the possibilities in life. And I made it. I made some right choices. Hard work pays off. It definitely pays off. And being raised in the South, really was a blessing. So it taught me how to handle my emotions and just work. I was taught to work hard, but knowing how to say the right thing at the right time and shut up. That's a part of the South if you want to survive. And I had my grandmother who was very grounded and strong and had a lot of inner strength. You know, it's she's just simply an amazing woman. And when I look at myself now, I'm thinking both my grandmothers didn't even drive a car. So here I am, I've been on forklifts and everything else. So it's just how we choose how we want to be in life. It's a choice, strictly a choice.
It is
And
a choice.
a lot of times, the only person who's going to believe in you is you. You have to be your best cheerleader for
Do you
yourself.
think that's cultural? Do you think being your own cheerleader is a cultural thing for a human?
I think it's more of a human thing, my belief, because a lot of things on the outside can appear to be just great. You can see people living in nice neighborhoods, nice homes, driving nice cars, but it says nothing about the inner self and how he or she may feel about life. So at some point, you have to just look in the mirror and just say, "This is it. This is my hero right here. I'm going to have to make the best of my life I can with this person." And look at all the possibilities around you. Because when I went into construction, I didn't even really know what it was. And when I
Yeah.
got there,
So wait, Miss Bobby, hold on. I gotta wait, 'cause you're about to go into it. You're about to go into the piece. So before you tell me that, before you tell us that,
yeah,
what were your occupational options before choosing carpentry?
I was doing maid work before I came here. Because before I moved to Las Vegas, I was working at Timex for watches, and it was a union job. And I just kind of believed in unions. And then when I got here, the thing for a lot of people was just working in a hotel as a maid, and it's honorable work. I'm not knocking it, but it was just more to life than that for me. So I just started seeking what was available. And when I heard about the trades had to take women in, and I just went for it. I had no idea what it was, but I knew that if white men were doing it, the pay had to be good, and that's the truth.
That was the truth.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I hear that carpentry work and electrician work were then they were considered white men industry work until Black people of color started to go into the spaces and change the trajectory for us going into the spaces, let alone a woman, you know. So that brings me to my next question. Like, you went into this field, was there any fear? Did you ever say, "Oh my God, what am I doing?" Or you were just like, "Oh, okay, I'll take it"?
No, I'm just going to take it because I had children to raise. So I'm going to stick with it. When I went from maid work to construction work, my pay doubled. You know, that's half the battle. Half your problems are gone when your pay doubles. So I just took it. At first, I thought about some other things, but then when I took what was available at the time, I just took it, I embraced it, and I never left. Because you can't quit. When something's working for you, you have to work it. And that's what I did.
I heard that. So it's kind of like so you went toward the thing that was working for you.
And the thing that was available at the time that I could really, because with 6 children, it's limited as to what you can do. I thought about firefighter and all that back then, but you have 6 children, so that's a challenge within itself. And people used to say, well, who keeps your children? I said, well, oftentimes God was my babysitter. I'd make sure their lunches were packed, their clothes were ready, and I'd have to leave early in the morning, and God was my babysitter. And I came home in the evenings, I made sure they had home cooked meals, and I was there, and I got them in sports. So I just lived for my family. I have 4 sons and 2 daughters. I live for it.
Beautiful.
That's it. And I just on that, there is a time in your life when you just know that it's time for change. You just know. And I call it courage. We all have courage in us, but it's like courage can be sitting on the table, but it's not just going to walk over to you and get up and carry you. You have to pick up courage and carry it. And that's what's good about life is we all have courage. It's just that sometimes we're not aware of where it lies, but it actually lies within us. Yeah, we think if others will give us what we need, but everything we need is within us. And I do also believe that you have to walk within your purpose in life. Because from the time I joined the apprenticeship program, I started pushing for other women to come as a first stage apprentice. So that's how long my journey has been.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive. So, you shared that the the Employment and Training Act, the CETA,
Yes.
was a United States federal law enacted by the Congress and signed by the President Richard Nixon at the time in 1973. How did you hear about this opportunity? How did you hear of the CEA, which is the Comprehensive Employment and Training Act for women? They had something for women. So how did you hear about it?
There was there was a sister. I can see her face, but I can't remember her name. And she was just talking to me one day, and she said, these places have to put these construction trades, the different places have to put on women, and you should go and apply. So it was up in the Nucleus Plaza. I went up there and I put in this application. And when I took it back, the lady said, I never forget, she's a Hispanic lady. She said, well, you don't qualify. Because at that time I was married, but I was in not a good marriage, and I wanted to just do it on my own. And she looked at me and she said, you know what? I'm going to tear up your application and you put down the right stuff. And that's just how opportunity can be, that one person who's bridging you over. Forever grateful, because she said, tear it up. Basically, put down the right lies. And I have never failed her before for offering me such an awesome chance to do something different for myself. Yeah. And I believe in life too, that your gatekeepers never meet you or give you messengers. And I know that God sends us messages if we're listening and paying attention on what we need to do. That's a strong belief. We all have angels out there looking over us, and they're messengers. And those messages come through everyday human beings you may never know.
Yes, I believe that too. I believe that you and I, people, everyday human beings, are used to do the miracles.
Yes.
To solve the miracles.
Yeah. So once I got in, I just never. There are times when you think about maybe because someone's giving you a tough time on the job, you have a jerk you have to work with, in a sense, somewhat of a jerk, not really, but a human being who really cannot understand where you are, because remember, construction is a man's job, and you're entering this field where men go home and they tell their wives how hard they have to work all day. And I was like 135 pounds. I'm coming in there and I'm doing it too. Come on. So it's like when you're entering in this field, change. It's culture too. You've got culture involved in that. You've got generations. It's so many things involved in change. And the only reason things really change is because you have men and women, and it depends on what it is, who are willing to push it through. And as you're pushing it through, you're pushing the gate open for someone else. I'm a firm believer in that. Yeah.
Right.
And we have to do that. We have to do that. And my survival in the trade was not so much about me, it's more about women coming behind me who they can look and say, well, I know if she did it, and I'm no exceptional person. I was just willing to stick with it.
You were
And I got
willing to.
paid well. I got paid well too. So
So that helps you get up out the bed every morning.
well, it's the skill too. It's like I have a trade. It's like there's just you can walk into a house and you can just change things, and then you're working with all these other trades people. You can pick up on all the things they do.
Yeah.
So you become so self sufficient on your home, on your daily life that it's like tools are just as common to you as makeup maybe to a person.
To a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess so then that brings me to my next question. What
Yeah.
was your most okay, tell me, what was your favorite tool?
I did finish work for a long time, so I really like uh, when you can walk into a room and you can trim it out. So those are the saws and things like that. Anything with finish would be the routers to saws.
So finished work. Define
Yeah.
finished work for us. Is that like what is finished
That-
work? Is that the molding around the house? Like at
When
the
you walk into the
bottom.
casino, it's just you see all the fine woodwork in there. Those are crafts. The cuts are so accurate that you don't even the trades offer you just so many different skills. If it's not carpentry, electrical, plumbing, of our life, with homes and apartments. I was blessed to have such. I loved it. Very passionate. I've met along the way, and working with apprentices to see them go from homeless to home, simply amazing.
From homeless to what?
My journey was more about how can I assist other people. But
Wow, Miss Bobby, you're glitching. Are you there? Yes. Can you say something for me?
I'm just thinking about my career and how wonderful.
That's beautiful.
How blessed.
No, you
I
were
am.
glitching. The internet we was hearing every other word that you were saying,
Oh,
and then you got really distorted. So the internet is
yeah.
technology, right? We're using technology.
Yeah. But sometimes you go with you. Sometimes it's that way too, as I'm watching you. So it's going both ways.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's so I think we're just gonna keep it moving. We're not gonna stop this train. Yes.
Keep the train moving.
We're gonna keep it moving. So
Yeah.
Miss Bobby, you shared with me that you worked as a maid at the Riviera Hotel while pursuing your pre-apprentice classes during the day.
Yeah, sure.
And you mentioned that you were on a verge of a nervous breakdown while you were raising 6 children, working, and doing the pre-apprenticeship program. Can you tell me what was happening in your mind and in your body, and what brought you through it?
Well, I was so exhausted. It's like you're working. It's kind of like you're working 2 jobs, and I think my baby was 10 months old at the time.
Oh wow.
So you just, and then one day I was at the apprenticeship school, and I was just talking to this one guy, and he says, "Doggone it, woman, you're gonna burn yourself out. You're trying to do too much." But the good thing about it all was once I completed the 6-week pre-apprenticeship program, I had a construction job that Friday. So it was worth it. It's just like I didn't have any lapse. I just went from completion to construction.
To start up.
Started right away. There was no no laughs in between. I was able to just do it. And
And you quit your maid job at the Riviera.
pardon?
And you quit your maid job.
Oh, yes.
You were like, hasta la vista.
I don't even think I called in or anything and let them know I wasn't coming back. I just didn't go back. But I just knew that I had more in me. I just knew that there was just something better for me. I just knew that there was something that could define me better than what I was doing. I just knew it.
You just knew it. You just
Yeah,
like,
like I don't know. You just it's just like you say I'm going to do this, but this is not where I'm ending up.
mhm.
And then you don't get a lot of encouragement when you're going into a non-traditional field, especially other women and family. It's kind of like we raise our sons and daughters to believe that men and women do certain things for generations.
Gender roles, gender
Yeah,
roles.
gender roles. It's like, but it's really not about the gender. It's about, do you have the qualifications and the skill?
And for you, and for I think even for all of us, the gumption,
Oh yeah, yeah.
courage to just do something new and different and out the box.
It doesn't start then, because I just remember a kid growing up. I was always trying to, well, I guess we call it the hustle then. What can I do to earn a buck? And my mom couldn't afford to give us lunch money, so I go to school an hour early in the morning and work in the cafeteria to get the free lunch. I
Wow,
would take the library.
you was a hustler, honey.
Yeah, so the library period, you go in there and you work, you do the dishes and stuff in the lunch break so you can get the free meal because your parents didn't have the money. Of course, it was good food back then, but I've always looked for ways to achieve. I remember my brother, and I know this is kind of off subject, but you just know. We would go berry picking, blackberry picking and plum picking, and I would leave home in the morning, and I would be determined and not so determined I wasn't going to come back home until the bucket was filled.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So when you have that in you, you just kind of know that you're going to find your way on what will work for you at the time. Uh, because of the children, I was somewhat limited as to where I could go because I had that responsibility. So I took the next best thing that I could do and made
What
it.
was the most challenging? What was out of when you got the job and your life has shifted and now you're making the money? Now you are learning a trade. Now you are more valuable to yourself, your family, your children, your community, your race than ever before. What was some of the challenges that you had to like get through as a woman in a male's dominated space?
It's just accepting the fact that people don't want you there, but you're going to be there anyway. And I always had some person who was supportive, but you've been told, you get told certain things like, why are such pretty black women prostitutes? Like, heck, I don't know. I'm not a prostitute. They say, just why don't you find a husband to take care of you? It's like, that is not why I'm here, to find a husband. That is, so people can be uh, they're insensitive with things they say, but no, it's like no matter what you say to me, I know my worth, and I had to find my worth myself. So there was nothing you could say to me to make me want to quit. It's just, I have to work with this effing woman. I have to work with this effing woman. He was swinging his hammer. And I go, oh my goodness, this is where you're going to place me. And that's where that's why I said, me being a listener and calm, I'm pretty calm. So I would kind of like take the harsh treatment for a while, and I'd listen to the guy, then I bring him something. I picked up right away that he was a boozer, and I'd bring him something to eat for breakfast. Just little things, just kindness. And in the end, he didn't want to work with anyone but me. So the thing is, you get with the person, you once you can feel the chemistry between you, it may not be good energy. It's you have the ability to change a negative energy you're sharing with someone. You have that ability to do it. You have to just know the person you're dealing with. And again, be willing to work hard. So when you work hard,
and listen.
oh yeah, listen. But you have to, be willing to work. And I was a worker. So at the end of the day, when you're both going home tired, oh, hey, that's appreciated. But that was the first biggest challenge. Like, a lot of people may have wanted to quit, but I had a good boss, my foreman, Donnie Crow. I'll never forget him. And he was the one who believed, even I had this foreman who believed in me. And throughout my career, I advanced not based on me wanting to advance. It's just others saw things in me and advanced me. Because when I retired running an apprenticeship program, that was huge.
Yeah. So you went from slinging the hammer,
yes,
doing carpentry work, doing, like you said, you were doing finishing, and you mostly worked at the casinos.
No, I was at the test site. I did a lot of concrete work, heavy work. But I a portion of my career, was able to run a shop, and I love that, But no, I did a lot of heavy, like lifting. Hard to believe, but 1-inch sheet of plywood, 4x8, 1-inch thick. I used to carry that. Yeah, that's a lot. Waterlogged. The guys would look at the stack and say, 32 pieces or 10 pieces, 5 belong to me and 5 belong to you.
And you would have to carry them.
Yeah. But once you did that, they kind of had a little respect for you then. Because when someone's trying to break you and you can't be broken, they can only respect you for not breaking anyway underneath them. Yeah. And then they become your little cheerleader on the side. And any task that I was given, I was just always give it my best shot. If they say, Bobby, go do whatever, I put my signature on it. That's how you do it. So that's how you really gain respect. Is you have to know how to deal with people and be at your best at all times. And one of the worst is give your opinion. And whatever it is, if it's an 15 seconds and move on to something else. Because if you stick with how people treat you long enough, they'll own you. And I refuse to allow that to happen. So.
You said, wait, that was a gem drop. You said if you stick with how people treat you long enough, then they own you.
Yes.
That's a gem drop.
So it's like, if you're harsh towards me and I'm upset from it, think about it for a while. I say, my thing is 15 seconds. Then I'll go back and revisit it. You think about it 15 seconds, because the more you think about stuff that's negative, the more it's going to. So it's like you never on time. And human beings are just human, and none of us are perfect. So you make the best of it. But it makes a difference too when you have a career you really love. And I really loved the career that I had. I mean, just was passionate about it. I loved it. I love going to work.
Wow.
So that makes a difference too.
Wow. So knowing is removing. This is kind of like, I had another guest, and he was sharing that when you know you're going to succeed, or you want that thing to succeed, you remove the plan B and the plan C. And knowing is just the plan A. That's just the plan, right? So is that in your bio?
Yeah. Yes.
said, right? You said that you talked about, you described trying and versus doing. Is that something like
Oh yeah.
removing the plan B and C and just knowing that the A gonna work?
Because a lot of times, you tell kids or your grandkids or you're on a job and you see a person and they'll say, "Well, I tried to do it," like, but you didn't do it. you know, it shows you tried, but you shouldn't try to succeed. So it's like there comes a time when you just do. Like, do is just no matter how you feel, you stick to your goal, you stick to your plan, no matter how you feel, you stick to it. You get up every day and you give it your best. You just stick with it. No matter what people are saying to you, things others are saying that you can't afford to say to yourself. You just say, I know that I'm going to make it. I don't know how. I don't know what the ingredients are, but I know I have them in me and I'll make it. And that's how you do it. Yeah, it's like once I was at work and I was having a difficult time with this guy and I just said, well, I'm just going to quit. But then that inner voice in me came back and said, oh no, you're not. We don't quit. And it's just like something came all over me and I go, oh no, we're going to figure out how to deal with you because I'm not quitting. And then you find out how that person is and what works best. And when I find that a lot of times when people are kind of rude and they're male chauvinists, you come on pretty direct with them. Like, hey, this is how it's going to be. Now, whatever your plan is, I'm not going no place. So you can save that energy for someone else. But it's not just what you say, it's how you talk to people as well. That has a lot to do with it. Because people can feel your spirit. Yeah. We all have that spirit going, just floating around, choosing what we're going to do with it.
So you say people can feel your spirit.
Oh, yeah.
All people can feel your spirit or just certain people are tapped in?
I don't know whether all can, but your spirit comes out in the way you talk, the way you walk, your actions. Your spirit comes, you reveal your spirit in so many different ways. You can walk into a room and don't say anything and others can feel your spirit. Yeah, so I don't know whether, you've been in a situation where you can see someone coming and you just know, oh, this is not going to be a good thing right here. But I'm aware of what's coming towards me, so I'll adjust myself for it. No, we're spiritual beings. Yeah.
We are spiritual beings.
Well, for others to feel how you're thinking. Don't always have to. But maybe I'm more in tune to that. I don't know.
I think you are.
Yeah.
I think you are. And
Yeah.
and there's many like you, but then there's many that are not like you.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my humble opinion. Decision making. Right? Decision making is a delicate position in gender roles.
Oh, yes.
Right? How did you navigate decision making amongst men as a woman?
Actually, it's an advantage to be in a man's world because you hear their conversations all the time and you see their interactions all the time and you get to know them. It's kind of like you go to work and you are watching characters at work if you're paying attention. So you get to understand better how men think and how they feel. And then you'll get to kind of like feeling like, well, it's not that he's against me. This is this person and how he is. So that worked a lot. And then because I listen to men a lot, you sort of know how they're thinking and what they're going to say. So it's actually an advantage to work in a man's world. Yeah, it's an advantage. It's like once you work in a man's world for a long time, when something comes out of someone's mouth, it doesn't really surprise you anymore. It's like, oh god, yeah.
Did it help? So how did it help you understand your male children better?
I to a point, because I think that oftentimes when boys are growing, they probably need that connection with a father sometimes. So work relationships are somewhat different than personal relationships, even though you understand men. Uh, that's in a work environment. In your personal life, it could be something totally different.
Because
I raised my boys to work, so they know how to work. And I raised
right.
them to believe that there was never a man in the house because when I was single, so there is no man here. I'm mama, you're the child. So
That's
we don't
it.
role play here. Yeah.
What is the first rule of thumb in life and living that you taught your children?
Be humble.
Mm,
Be humble. You have to be humble. You have to take yourself out of so many situations. But then again, even when you have children, the reality of it is their genetics.
Oh
Um,
my God. Oh my God. Honey, you just cannot make this stuff up. That was Miss Bobby Whitmore. She had gym after gym after gym. Every woman that I've had in this 3-part series, this is part 3. The common thread of them all, of Miss Kathy Jackson, Miss Shirley Hubbard, and Miss Bobby Whitmore, the common thread of each and every one of these women that have served as a divine feminine in a man dominated industry is that they refused to lose. They refused to give up. They refused to say, to throw in the towel. The common thread was their courage and their tenacity to complete the job and the task that they had at hand, honey. Our help tip for the week. We don't just talk about the problem, but we also render a solution. This week's health tip is no is a complete sentence. No to lack, no to following the crowd, no to abuse, no to other people's opinion of you, and no to abandoning yourself. What inspired me to do this edition of Power in My Pivot was to honor the divine feminine globally as a whole and to give rise to women who have broken the mold and live life on the wings of warrior feminine. The women that I've interviewed did not have a plan B and a plan C. They knew that they knew that they knew that their plan A would not fail. Thank you for tuning in to Power in My Pivot. Power in My Pivot is a live broadcast that happens every Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern. Kings and queens, let's pivot from basic to bona fide. And always remember that nobody is better than you, and you are no better than nobody. Said to me by a wise man. Until next time, there is power in your pivot.